Miss Adira Ashet Samiel. Okay. Adira holds a BS in Nutrition and Food Science and a Master of Arts in Teaching. She's been an educator for over 13 years with a passion to make learning fun for children of all ages. She has homeschooled her 3 sons since birth as part of her family daycare and homeschool co-op. As a community educator, Adira has taught workshops at schools and libraries, encouraging healthy nutrition for the entire family. She continues to homeschool while teaching specialty classes at E.L. Haynes Public Charter School, providing science instruction to elementary and middle school students. She also serves as an adult literacy educator at the UDC Community College. Please welcome Mama Adira.
How wanna do?
I'm fine.
How wanna do?
Me good?
Me hear one person answer me. What happened to the rest of us?
Yeah, I understand what you say.
Well, me guess me have to tell you how things go at yard. Okay. Una ready? Yes. All right. So we are going to start now with our presentation on Jamaica. Jamaica, the 3rd largest island in the Caribbean. Una ready? Una sure? Una ready? All right. Let me back up this slide here. Everybody have them handouts?
Yes.
So the presentation this morning is on enjoying Jamaica's jewels. Because Jamaica is an island that is rich in plenty of jewels. And so we're going to highlight a few of them this morning. Make sure you take good notes. Make sure you stay awake. As a matter of fact, we have prize for all who can answer some question at the end of the presentation. So make sure you stay awake and pay attention. All right. So Jamaica's jewels. First of all, for those of you who don't know, yes, I've been here in the States for quite some time. Some people call me a Jamaican. I was born on the island in the wonderful year of 1971, and I came here when I was very small, very small. And my parents did as much as they could. We would go back every now and then for vacations, birthdays, whatever occasions. And so it was always a good opportunity for me to reconnect with my roots and with my people. So I'm going to share just some of the jewels that this beautiful island possesses. Now, your handouts, you'll notice, this slide is a little small. I will forward the PowerPoint to you, but make sure you just follow along. And of course, you can take some notes. So the first jewel that I want to point out about this beautiful island of Jamaica is the landscape. The landscape of Jamaica is absolutely beautiful. Tourists go there just for photography, videography, shooting all kinds of movie scenes. Anybody remember the movie Blue Lagoon?
Oh, yes.
Shot and filmed in Jamaica. So Jamaica, as I said, is the 3rd largest island in the Caribbean, and it is part of what we call the Greater Antilles. It is just south of Cuba, west of Haiti and Dominican Republic, Hispaniola. And as you go further down the line, then you have the islands that we call the Lesser Antilles. Jamaica is about the size of Connecticut, the state of Connecticut, in terms of miles and square miles. So it's a pretty significant space in terms of the islands. Now, some things to keep in mind about Jamaica, and this is something that you may want to bring up with your campers. Jamaica is, here in the United States, the country, America, is broken up into states, and each state has their capital and cities. Jamaica is divided into what we call parishes, and these are similar to what we call states. There are 14 parishes ranging throughout the island, and as you can see, they each have their own capital. And again, you'll get the PowerPoint because I know it's very hard to see on the slides. So for those of you who are just curious, so I was actually born in the parish of Trelawney, in the capital, Falmouth. My parents, my mother actually, was born in Westmoreland. My father's family is from Trelawney. So I'm definitely more familiar with the western side of the island. The eastern side, I have some family in Kingston, and we go there periodically, but definitely I'm more familiar with the western side. And as you can see from the map that's here, so Kingston is the capital of Jamaica, and it's actually considered a parish to itself, but not a very big one. And there's a major airport. There's the Donald Sangster Airport in Kingston International, and then the other international airport is in Montego Bay, also called Mo Bay. So continuing to talk about the landscape, one of the jewels again that Jamaica is known for is the highest mountain peak, which is the Blue Mountains. And it's especially known for the coffee. The coffee beans are known worldwide, and that is one of the major exports. Japan in particular is a country that just deals with Blue Mountain coffee. And the mountain peak is 7,402 feet high, and the range of the mountains is about 30 miles. And those are located towards the eastern section of the island. Talking about the rivers. The rivers, there are plenty of rivers in Jamaica, about 150 small and large rivers. The Rio Grande, which literally means big river, is the longest river in the island. Then we also have the Black River, which is the widest. And then the Martha Brae River is another one that is in the parish of Trelawney, a pretty long one. And one of the favorite pastimes, definitely more of a tourist attraction, is to go rafting down the river. So this is something that you may want to incorporate into your activities for your campers. And actually have an example of a typical raft. So you can pay about $60 US. And for 2 or maybe 4 people, you can go rafting down one of these rivers. You can stop along the way, get some coconut water to drink, stop off and see some of the vendors who may be selling craft items like calabash cups. So these are one of the activities, and I'll pass that around. Rafting down the river. Again, Martha Brae, Rio Grande, Black River. One of, again, the beautiful resources, the jewels that you will find on the island of Jamaica. You will also find waterfalls as part of the landscape. Okay, one of the famous waterfalls, which you can actually walk up, I've done it a couple of times myself, Dunn's River Falls. It's 1,000 feet high, and sometimes some folks are brave enough they can walk up by themselves, but usually, as you see in this picture here, you have a train of people helping each other to go up the falls. And when you go up, there's a little waterway, and then you come on back down, and it's right next to a beach. And the Dunn's River Falls is located in one of the popular tourist areas, Ocho Rios, also known as Ochi, in St. Anne. Then in Jamaica, there are also rainforests and caves. So one of the famous ones, and this is located on the north coast, the Green Grotto Caves. And inside you will have the scenic aquamarine turquoise water, and again, stalagmites, all that you would typically find in caves around the world. So this is another great part of the Jamaican landscape. The rainforest, they actually have a special, well, not say a special ride, but an amusement park ride, because there is an amusement park called Mystic Mountains. And one of the hot attractions, the hot rides, is a bobsled that will take you through the rainforest. So just as rainforests that are around the world, there's a few on the island that make up the beautiful landscape. And if you ever go to Mystic Mountains, you can ride on the bobsled and go through the rainforest, the canopies, and see all of the wildlife that is there to behold. And of course, we cannot have a conversation and a talk about Jamaica without mentioning the beautiful beaches. And here's a picture of Yeshaya enjoying the beach. And actually, so what I have listed here are some of the popular spots. The Grill is a famous popular beach spot. Ocho Rios, again, Ochi. Port Antonio has some beautiful beaches there. But because the way the island is set up, every parish has a coast. You're right there by the water. So for some people, it's just a matter of getting out of their house and they walk across the street and they're at the beach. So beaches are plentiful and opportunities to get into the water. This is actually a beach in Falmouth called Burwood, and it's like a little community beach. For many years it was free. Last thing I heard, they're trying to now charge people to go to what was nature's resources, open resources to enjoy the scenery. So the beaches, again, a beautiful part of the landscape of Jamaica. Now, another one of the jewels that we will look at, and again, this is something that we definitely want to focus on in Kids and Culture Camp, the history of Jamaica. It's a country that is very treasures history. There are many national heroes, and we're going to talk about some of them. So this is definitely one of Jamaica's jewels that we should focus on during Kids and Culture Camp. Okay, so before Columbus, before the man we know as Christopher Columbus went and did all of his exploring, he actually landed on Jamaica in 1494. There were a group of natives that were there, and they are known as the Taino Indians, and that's T-A-I-N-O. Sometimes the word is interchanged with Arawak, A-R-A-W-A-K. But these were native Indians to the island. They actually named the island Jamaica, X-A-Y-M-A-C-A, which literally means the land of wood and water. So the island already had a name, and so then Jamaica derived from this name. And of course, they had their tribes, their gatherings, their whole way of life and their culture. And we're gonna come back and watch a little short video on this in a little while. But then, again, the colonials came, 1494, Christopher Columbus, and the Spanish really took over and set up shop and took control in 1507. And of course, as the colonials will do, they plundered and brought disease, and so of course the Taino population started to dwindle. The Spanish rule, however, ended in 1655 when the British came and took control. And the British were there, and of course, as slavery was going on in the States, slavery was going on also in America, in Jamaica. So while cotton was king in the States, in the islands, in particular Jamaica, sugarcane was king. And so there were fields and fields, plantations of sugarcane. I'm going to pass them around. The long stalks, I have a sharp knife that I think can cut some. And so slaves were being brought in from West Africa and other parts of the world to work these sugarcane plantations. In 1807, that is when slavery was actually abolished, the slavery trade, but slavery itself was not abolished until 1838. And then we're going to talk about a little bit about some of the integral happenings that helped to bring about the abolishment of slavery. British rule ended on August 6, 1962, and that is when Jamaica became an independent nation. And that year, that date is celebrated every year. It's a big to-do. If you don't have your ticket before August, the rates and the fares are extremely high because everybody likes to get home to celebrate August 6th, Independence Day. All right, so we cannot talk about history in Jamaica without mentioning the Maroons, who are still in existence today. They have a Maroon town, a few, as a matter of fact, around the island. But one of the famous, the pioneers, the leaders in the Maroon community, Nanny, Queen Nanny of the Maroons. And the Maroons, so remember we talked about the British taking control in 1655. When the British took rule, there was of course that little squabble, warring between the Spanish and the British. And some of the slaves took that opportunity to escape. They made their escape. And they fled into the mountains of Jamaica. And there they stayed. And no matter how the British tried, years, hundreds of years, to try to bring them into subjugation,